It's me, it's Gruntsop Monkey, and I am back once more with another Letter of the Sports video. There are now just 6 of these videos left to show you, including this one, of course, which features the letter U, and this time we're returning to the States to take a brief excursion through the history of the Utah Jazz. First thing we have to do, of course, which you should all know by now, let's be honest, is zoom in on the flag. Let's zoom in on the flag. Zoom, 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 zoom. Here it is. Here is the flag. It's a very clever logo, actually, because it combines the two things that Utah Jazz involves, namely basketball and, because they're called the Jazz, of course, music. It's obviously a musical note, and then the note head, that's the bit at the bottom, that's a basketball. Isn't that clever? It's simple, but it's effective. I should also add, before we go any further, this is a slightly older version of their logo. The current one is either plain black on a white background or plain white on a black background, the other way round. But yeah, I thought that would be more interesting to show you the team colours on the flag there. It's a bit more interesting to look at on a flag. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? The Utah Jazz were originally founded as the New Orleans Jazz, hence the musical links there, and admitted into the National Basketball Association, the NBA, in June 1974 as an expansion franchise. The name Jazz was chosen by team officials not only because they were based in New Orleans, but because of its dictionary definition, which is collective improvisation, as it fits well to the ideals and the philosophies of the sport of basketball. Their first major move as a team was to trade with the Atlanta Hawks for their standout star, Pete Maravich. And although he was one of the more entertaining players of the league and led the scoring championship for the 76-77 season, he was plagued with knee injuries, unfortunately, fell down the order of the team selection. This was also indicative, yes, that's a word, of the Jazz performance in the league, as they failed to reach the playoffs in any of their first 5 seasons. By 1979, the franchise was in financial difficulties, with one factor being the 11% amusement tax in New Orleans, which was the highest in the United States at the time. The decision was made to move the franchise to somewhere more viable, and the New Orleans Jazz subsequently moved to Salt Lake City and became known as Utah Jazz. Fortunes then saw an improvement when in the 1983-84 season the Jazz finished second in the Western Conference and began a run of 20 playoff appearances. In 2 consecutive seasons, though, namely the 96-97 and 97-98 seasons, Utah Jazz won the conference title and then worked their way to the NBA Finals. But they were beaten 4-2 in both instances by Chicago Bulls, who were currently led by Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who had formed a dominating partnership in that era. If you know your basketball particularly well, that era was huge for the Chicago Bulls. In more recent outings, Utah Jazz have had mixed fortunes, and despite winning the Western Conference for a 3rd time in the 2020-2021 season, they have yet to clinch an NBA title. They did, unfortunately, lose in the semi-finals of the playoffs in that season. Here's hoping that they can enjoy a good season this time around when it gets started again. Coincidentally, if you're watching this video on the day it got put out, the new season starts tomorrow. It starts on Tuesday. Today is Monday. It starts tomorrow. So if you're watching this on the day I released the video, you can start watching the NBA and see how that season goes from tomorrow. How exciting! That's all I have for you for now, though, because now we're on the current days, of course, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye!